Reporting live from the fucking Carter Bay.
All right, just put it like this, innit? If we like blow, for example, yeah, what you think man are gonna say? Oh yeah, the nigga that's not on the camera. Like you need a name, bruv. Like
I've got no interest in blowing them.
no, but I haven't it.
Yeah. So whether or not I have a name or whether or not I'm visible, it means nothing.
Yeah, but all right then, safe, innit? It's like I don't know, man. Like you need. There needs to be something in it. People need to be able to familiarize. Like that's my man in it. Do you get me? They don't have to know what you look like or know who you are, but they need to be like, "Oh, did you hear what X said?" Do you get me?
Tom Cruise.
We're gonna figure one out. So yeah, this week we it's a hard week, man. We had obviously the Meghan Markle interview with Oprah. What was your... Wow. We're going to get to our thoughts on that. We had new music. We had new music from the boy, Drake. And we had music from Silk Sonic, a.k.a. Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak. Have you not heard it?
No, I have, but I've got thoughts on that.
Okay, we'll get to that later, innit? Firstly, I just wanted to talk about, obviously, Sarah... And if I'm pronouncing the name wrong, I do apologise. Sarah Everard.
Everard.
Sarah Everard. Now, obviously, she went missing a couple of days ago. After she went to go see a friend, and she was walking home, and yeah, she ain't made it home yet. She's not like confirmed, like dead, but it's not looking promising at all. Like there was remains found in Kent, I want to say.
Yeah, I've seen that on the news
or something like that. And obviously, it's brought up a big conversation, and it like obviously women don't like saying they don't feel safe to walk alone in the streets and XYZ, which is I'd never understand because I'm not a woman in it. You'd never understand either. But I've got sisters who have kind of told me, like, from young, don't be like this, don't do this, don't do that. And I just think it's weird, man, like, certain man's behaviour, man. Especially today, like, I'm seeing man tweet, not all men. And I'm like, bro. I see black men as well tweeting, not all men, But what they need to understand is that's, like, when, obviously, the Black Lives Matter movement was at its peak last year, and people were tweeting, all lives matter, you wanted to get mad. Like, yes, we understand... We actually do understand all lives matter, but Black Lives Matter meant that Black lives mattered because what was going on. You get me? And what goes on. So when they're saying stuff about men, you can't put not all men because essentially they don't mean every man, but it's just for the men that do. So you can't do that, innit? Like it just doesn't make fucking sense, and you look fucking stupid. So stop it.
I feel like people on Twitter though, like a lot of everybody tweets with a degree of self-interest, obviously, and I think although people are well-meaning when they say stuff like not all men do rare and whatever else, I think people need to as you say take themselves out of certain conversations that don't necessarily apply to them. Like that we have a mad culture of policing other groups' experiences, the same way when obviously the race in particular has been a huge discussion in the past year, 18 months, however long, and white people in particular have a great talent at jumping in the conversation and making it about them. Do you know what I mean? Like not I don't feel like it's always a conscious thing, but yeah. They find a way to make it about them, the same way that obviously a lot's been made this week about the male-female dynamic and how, generally speaking, men, they don't oppress, well, some men oppress women, but women are disproportionately affected by crimes and other things that are somewhat social norms because men generally are the dominant sex.
Do me a favour.
Yo.
Move this like here, because Yeah, I feel
Like here.
I feel now because it's not green in it, so I feel like now it would be fine.
Is it green now?
Yeah, perfect now.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I was, like, I think people on Twitter and other social media platforms have a great talent at inviting themselves into conversations that don't concern them. And I think my mom says it all the time, you know, sometimes it's about shutting your mouth and opening your ears.
Listen.
Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes
Mumsy in it. Big up Mumsy.
it's about just listening to what people have to say as a means of learning something, man. It's not all, you know, you have an event that happens in the world, i.e. what's happened this week with my girl, and then you got a man jumping on Twitter going, well, not all men do da-da-da-da-da. I don't da-da-da-da. If I see women on the street, I make sure that they feel da-da-da-da. Blood, it's not about you, man. Like, the women are sharing their experiences as a means of reminding everybody, really, that the world's fuckeries, man. Like,
The world is
fuckeries. And I think what makes this particular instance even worse is that the suspected killer, the alleged killer, the man who's
police
been
officer.
he's a police officer, in it, and I think, you know, it calls into question how safe people can truly feel when men or people generally who are supposed to uphold the law
And protect
and protect are capable of doing the mad things, in it. But I think that feeds into a conversation about men and power. Do you know what I mean? And I think a lot of men, you know, certainly certain demographics of men, we're not going to get into, but I think men enjoy exercising a degree of power in their relationships with their missus.
Yeah.
With, you know, if they're a police officer, they like to exert that power because it makes them feel
They can, innit?
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
And I think, you know, an awful lot of discourse is about, you know, feeling comfortable going to the police if you're being, you know, harassed or whatever else. But then you're like, hang on, these men are, do you know what I mean? Doing the fuckeries. And I think an awful lot is made as well about what women need to do when the bigger.
Bruv. Some of the things that I've seen online today have royally pissed me off, innit? Like, bruv, I'm seeing people say, "Oh, I should have got a taxi." What?
It's ridiculous.
No. I seen one person, she should have been visiting her friend in lockdown. These times, I know that said same person, you know, I know they haven't been following all lockdown rules. Seen my party the other day. Do you get me? But you want to talk about, nah, bro, nah, I'm sorry. Yeah. And one more thing about just men in general, yeah, and I think it's weird behaviour, and I'll never ever forget it. And I had one girl on Snap before, and she was finishing her shift in like town. I can't remember what girl it was, who it was in it, but basically the girl was finishing her shift in town, and she was recording, and there was this car. It was like a silver Audi, and while she was walking, she was recording, and the Audi's going at her pace in town, you know, like talking to her, like trying to talk, and she's like, "Can you like leave me alone? Like, this is weird." Do you get me? Like, and I just think, who raised these people? Do you get me? Like, who raised these? Like, who actually raised you?
But a lot of it's just it's learned behaviour through, you know, maybe what they see at home, what they see on the television, and people form understandings, you know, subconsciously about how certain people should be treated, whether it be black people or other ethnic minorities or women. You know, you may say, like, if a girl, for example, is wearing provocative gear, men generally, and I might be generalizing a bit, but they see that as an opportunity, or she's this or she's that, when really it's about checking.
Oh yeah, like if she's wearing a skirt, then, but all them things.
It's fucking, man. I think a lot of it is about, a lot of this particular conversation is about, as I said, closing your mouth and opening your ears. But then also it's about checking your own behaviour and making sure that it's you that's not making women feel uncomfortable and doing things that maybe they were acceptable in X year, but in 2021 certain things can't run, man. Like, it's a whole mess. But yeah, the people on Twitter who take the women out of the equation and you know, just disregard their actual experiences and replace those with, well, I don't do, and in my experience, blood, shut up, man.
Exactly. And the thing is, like, I'm only speaking about the only kind of parallel. No, it's not even a parallel, but the only kind of thing that's kind of the same is like, I was talking to someone about it, and it's like, a white person would never get what I'm going through as a black person because we live in two different lives, essentially. Do you get me? And I would never understand what a woman's going through because I'm a man. Do you get me? Like, I'm really never going to understand. So when women talk, shut him out and
open your ears and shut your mouth.
Open your ears and shut him out. That's what it is, bro. That's just what it is, isn't it? I feel like that's the perfect thing. But yeah, and to close this point, because I don't want to be talking about this for too long, because
I don't really know all the facts as well, to be honest.
It's not. Yeah, I learnt about it literally like today. Like I seen it around, but you know when you just don't pay attention to stuff.
Because you're a man.
Are we gonna do that? We're gonna do that, safe.
It's linked though. I think
because I don't think it is. You know, because I don't pay attention to certain things if it doesn't apply
to you. And here, let me land that point then.
Go on then.
There are parallels between situations like this and like race relations as well, because there's a lot of white people, for example, who they don't tune in to what was happening last year, what the whole saga with Meghan and Harry, because it's not on their radar. Same way that a lot of the discourse that I've seen, particularly on socials in the last couple of days, is there's a lot of women who are outraged, or they have an awful lot to say on the matter, and then there's people like you and I who are just like, okay, it's news, and that's part of the problem. We are part of the problem. As much as I'm sitting here saying, oh yeah, we need to listen to women in rare, there are things that we need to unlearn because of
society.
There are learned behaviors, both conscious and subconscious, that they contribute to how does something them carry on in the world today, and how it's long for women out there, and then but whatever.
Like I said, it's long because even like little stuff like, well, it's not even little stuff, but even stuff like girls, for example, back in like school days and that, they're telling me like their stories or whatever with man, and I'm thinking they're telling me, and I'm like, that don't sound right, like one girl, I never forget it, one girl said to me that she was dealing with this guy, and basically they were lipsing and whatever, blah blah blah, and then the guy was a bit older, only like 2 years. I think he was in like year 11 or something like that. And the guy was like,
so he was 18 dating 16-year-olds.
That's another problem in itself. And the guy was like, I'm gonna go to the toilet. If I come back and your pants are on the floor, you can go home.
They are on the floor.
If they're not on the floor, like, you're going home.
Right.
So obviously she was like, I felt, and I was like, okay, so like, did you tell, like, and she was like, because like I kind of like him, but and it's just, I think men like that is just not cool, man. And I've seen girls today say check your friends, because like I seen a tweet saying the math isn't mathing, innit? Because a girl, like, this is what a girl tweeted. A girl knows X amount of girls that have been sexually assaulted or have felt away.
There was
when something happened, but no man knows anyone, because I don't know anyone that's like that, if I'm honest. So I think it is something that we need to do better as men, to be checking our boys, innit? When we see some bullshit, be like, no, that's not right. And when a woman says no, it means no. It doesn't mean try again in 10 minutes or try again in half an. No, it just means no. Like, it's not there for you.
I was gonna
closed on Sunday, no Chick-fil-A. You get me? Like, it's not that.
No, of course it's important to check your mates, of course, but people also have to check themselves, man. Like, I think a lot of people, and certainly a lot of people that I know, including myself, everybody's guilty at some point or another doing some fucked up shit. Not to say that everyone's sexually harassing women, I'm not saying that at all, but
no, 100%.
It's, in over sexualizing women, perhaps not believing certain stories when you hear them about this happened.
Yeah.
And I think we are all guilty of it. And as I said, it is learned behavior that, for example, if if you're talking to a girl or you're seeing a girl, whatever, and then the same thing that you said then about no means no, like that, I do feel like the lines are blurred a little bit, because I think a lot of men will see it as
a challenge, innit?
Yeah, and a lot of men will see it as like, oh, she's saying no, but she really means yeah. That's a very muddy area, because there are genuine instances where it is all fun and games.
I spoke to girls, and girls have said like, well, I've spoke to women, and women have said like, yeah, sometimes I'll be like, don't do this, but I want you to do it again. So then, do you get me? So it is a muddy, like it is a muddy area, like you said, in it. And I think it's good to have open conversations though about
100%.
stuff like that, and you know, your safe words or what you deem as don't do that, that's disrespectful, or do I feel like that's calm in it. But we're just talking about sex now, which is probably another thing of us being men, because
well, sex is a power dynamic, period.
Yeah,
but that's really not what we're trying to talk about right now.
Yeah,
but yeah, as I said, the ins and outs of this particular matter I don't really know, so I don't really feel comfortable talking too much about it and saying things when I'm not informed. Do you know what I mean? But the real, it's important when things like this happen. It's important to see how people react, because it gives you who they are. Yeah, it's a litmus test to see what people really think. And I think
that leads us straight into our next topic, because boy, oh boy.
Live from the gutter, dog. Yeah.